Rapid Cargo sponsors the Kubi Springer Show. So Kim, I want to talk about that day that you went for the Nike audition. What happened?
The day that changed my life.
The day that changed your life, yes.
So up until that point, I'd been dancing, but it was, you know, really ad hoc stuff, and I found it really difficult to get into the commercial industry. Not only being plus size, also being a woman in hip hop. You know, it's so male-oriented that it's just really, really difficult. So a friend of mine said there's this audition for a major sporting brand. They're looking for dancers, and my first instinct was, no way am I going for that, you know, again.
Why? Why did you think, no?
Because they're going to be looking for these, you know, tiny women with pronounced muscles and, you know, I'm just thinking, there's no way I fit, you know, into that demographic. But she said, well, can you come along and support me? You know, I really want to go to this audition. So, oh, why not? Okay. And it was directly opposite, like, you know, the shopping centre as well. So I thought, I can go shopping. So we turned up at the audition. There were 900 girls auditioning.
Wow, 900?
Huge, yeah. And we ended up in the back of the queue.
Did anybody know it was Nike? Because normally the auditions don't say.
Yeah,
okay.
no, so you don't know at that point.
Yep.
You just, all you know is that you're doing, we knew it was for a commercial. We knew it was for an advert. And they were seeing people one by one. So we were told by the casting director there'd be a 7.5-hour wait. Ooh. And we were in the back of the queue. So I said, well, I'm going shopping. She said, no, please just wait. Please just stay. I don't want to lose our space in the queue. All right, fine. Eventually we get to the front of the queue, and the casting director said to me, have you filled out your form yet? And I said, oh, no, I'm not auditioning. He said, why not? I said, I don't think it's for me. He said, well, you've been waiting 7.5 hours. Do something. Get in there. So at the time, I thought they're going to be looking for, you know, sort of cheerleader types, booty shakers even, so not my thing. So when I went in there, I didn't take it seriously. I did the audition, but, you know, I totally went against the grain. Hi, my name's Kimberly, and this is what I do. You know, it just didn't think it was what they were looking for. I then got a phone call that evening saying, congratulations, you made it through to the next round, which was, you know, thinking, okay, there's a mistake here, me.
Me? Really?
But,
okay.
Yeah. But I turned up to the next audition. It was the next day,
Yep.
different dance studio, and they'd taken it from 900 girls down to 30 girls.
No
So there was an
way.
immediate cut there.
Wow.
When we got into that dance studio, the casting director said, right, you've got a live video link up right now with the choreographer in Los Angeles.
And
He's
who's the
going to be
choreographer?
watching Jamie King.
Big.
Humongous.
Huge. For people at
yes.
home who don't know who Jamie King is, just
Yes.
do us a quick 2-second
Quick
breakdown.
rundown.
Yeah.
Directed Madonna's most recent tours, a lot of Madonna's videos, worked with Madonna, worked with Prince, worked with Janet Jackson. He's just, you know...
The control man.
Oh,
Control.
yeah.
That's Jamie King.
Jamie
Yep.
King,
Huge.
yeah.
So you live feed, was you nervous?
Again, I didn't take it seriously.
Okay.
To me, I was thinking they made a mistake. Any minute now, they're going to say, hang on, what are you doing here? So the casting director said, you know, live feed, we'd now like to see all of your dance training. So your ballet, jazz, tap, lyrical and contemporary, any traditional styles that you do, African or salsa. And he went through the list and street wasn't mentioned. I thought, well, that's going to be, you know, ridiculous. So I took him to one side and I said, I don't want to waste your time. I don't do any of those styles. I'm not a trained dancer. I've never done this before. You know, I think I should probably go home. So he thought for a moment. He said, you know what, just make it up. And I said, sorry, excuse you? He said, just get in front of the camera and just make it up. I thought, do you know what, why not? I haven't got this far at an audition before. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to make it up. So I did. So somewhere, and I do not know where this footage is, there is footage of me prancing around that studio like a baby elephant, pretending to be a ballet dancer, pretending to be a jazz dancer, pretending to do contemporary. But whatever I did, it worked, because I got a call that night to say, you're down to the final round, congratulations. At that point, I was completely convinced it was a joke. I'm thinking, there's no way that this could be happening. So in the final round, again, I turned up to the audition. And they'd taken it down to 10, but this was 10 from around the world. So they had dancers flown in from Europe, there was a couple from the US as well, and obviously a few from the UK.
And you were nervous at this stage, or still kind of relaxed and...
Yeah, I was a little bit nervous. Well, I mean, you could look through the window at what the other dancers were doing, and I saw some women doing some amazing things.
I can imagine.
You know, phenomenal dancers. So at that point, I was thinking, what am I doing here? What is this? Eventually, they called me in, put me on the spot, explained the basic concept of the commercial to me, and said, right, you know, this is where it is, off you go. Now, as opposed to a live video link-up, this was a panel of people who were assessing. So not only was Jamie King there himself, but his two assistants, the casting director and his assistants, the brand, who we also found out was Nike at that time, and also the advertising agency, all sat on a long table, flash dance styling. And you had to do your piece in front of them. At that point, the nerves kicked in. I thought, oh my goodness. So when the assistant was about to press play, Jamie King stood up and said, oh wait, hang on a minute. And I thought, this is it. They've got it. They've nailed it. They know I'm not supposed to be here. And so he came over to me and he whispered in my ear. He said, it's a pleasure to meet you. I think you're a phenomenal dancer. Wow. And he just sat back down again.
Yes.
And I thought, what on earth? That
was confirmation.
That was it. It was confirmation. And now it was no longer about the fact that I was in an audition. It wasn't about the job or the commercial. It was the fact that I'd been recognised by this global celebrity choreographer. And when I'd just come from a community class, essentially, you know, never trained, he recognised me. So that was enough for me. So at that point, when they said dance, I threw everything in. And I danced for the love of dance, not for the job. Whatever, I forgot it was about that. It was just, I just went crazy in that studio.
You hit something on the nail that I think will resonate with a lot of dancers, which is the idea to dance for the love of dance. Not dance because it's a gig that's going to pay you a lot of money or because it's Nike, but just for the pure love of it.
That's it.
Do you think the industry, because street dancers become so popular, you've got, you know, Flawless, and you've just got, there's so much going on. Yeah. Do you think people have lost the love of dance?
I think, yeah, the love of dance has gone by the wayside a little bit, simply because the celebrity side has taken over.
Sure.
A lot of people...
And the money's taken over. I mean, dancers are now getting paid a lot of money.
Yeah.
What sort of money are we talking about, just roughly? So
oh, goodness, it varies. I mean, you can go into tens of thousands if you're a celebrity dance company now. If you've come off a TV show like Britain's Got Talent or something like that, you know,
there's
can
a rumour going around, and this is the place where I'm really going to ask you this, Kim. There's a rumour going around that the guys that came off of Britain's Got Talent, and I'm not going to say which ones, are now getting paid about £10,000 a gig. Is that right?
I would say at least.
At least?
At least.
As each or as a collective?
Oh, as a collective.
Really?
Yeah, but that's still pretty good going for a 4-minute set.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, so that clears that up. Good to know, good to know. Let's move on a little bit with your career. Meeting people like Madonna. I know that your meeting with Madonna was quite informal. You met her husband at the time. Yeah. How was that experience?
Really surreal. I'd grown up watching this woman on television, never imagining that I'd ever be able to dance with her. And now I'm standing in a studio, dressed down, tracksuits, caps on, you know, just like she's another dancer. It was very, very strange. Yeah. Really inspiring at the same time, because she wasn't who I thought she was. Okay. You know, she portrays this image, and often the media assume that she's, you know, a very sort of abrupt and, you know, I mean, yes, she's a businesswoman and she wants the business to be done, and she wouldn't be who she was if she wasn't strict about her business. But at the same time, she's very maternal, very nurturing and very understanding. And often you don't get that with artists, especially not as big as Madonna, of that caliber. So it was a brilliant experience to be able to work with her and really understand the person behind who Madonna was. And I got to spend quite a bit of time with her as well, which was really, really nice. So
I love the fact that not only have you been there, worked with some big brands, worked with celebrities like Madonna, but now you're setting up a standard for the industry.
Yes.
Things like dancers paying their taxes, dancers, you know, making sure their body's insured. How do you feel about that, and why have you set up this association?
It's so important to standardise now what is, you know, we call it street dance, but I guess it sort of covers the whole commercial aspect of dancers who've come from you know, the street, essentially, you know, not necessarily from studio styles, not from classical and contemporary styles. Often now, you know, so many people see it on reality TV and want to get involved, which is brilliant. I love the fact that it's growing, but it's important that it's also contained somewhat to make sure that it stays safe. Dancers are renowned for not doing their paperwork. Dancers are renowned for not staying healthy, not keeping in shape. I mean, you know, you spend, you know, 8 hours in a studio slogging it out. Of course you do, but they don't eat, they don't sleep, you know. It's just, it's a bad situation, and often dancers are burned out by the time they get to my age, you know. So there's such an early retirement rate in terms of dancers, especially because of that. They're so prone to injury. And so it's important that when you're training the next generation, and also when you're performing yourself, that you take all this into consideration and you make sure that you're doing it safely, so to protect yourself, protect your own body, to protect those who are dancing around you and dancing with you, to make sure you are the best that you absolutely can be, and then make sure you're passing the art on as well, the way it should be, so that the culture, you know, can continue to grow, continue to evolve, but can continue to stay authentic.
Yeah. What would you say to the next generation of dancers that are going into the business of dance? And people sometimes forget that this is a business. What would you say to them?
First and foremost, understand that it is a business. And essentially, a business is there to generate profit.
Yeah.
That's what a business is there for. If you can get your head around that, often dancers can do quite well. If you understand, I wouldn't say how to manipulate the business, but to capitalize on certain aspects of the business, to understand that it takes a plan, to understand that it takes, you know, an understanding of marketing, to understand that it takes, you know, just a general level of understanding when it comes to, you know, things like feedback, when it comes to assessment, understanding exactly where you're going with it. You know, obviously no business is going to get anywhere unless it has a direction, unless it has an idea, and dance is no different. You need to know where you're going firstly, where you want to take it. You need to make sure you train as crazy as you can to get there and do it properly. No shortcuts. People are often, you know, about taking shortcuts, and as we know in
One
business,
class at Pineapple, and then
and that's it, and they're a professional.
Yeah.
You know, but we know in business, if you take shortcuts, you're going to feel it in the long run.
Of course.
You know?
The business of dance, what are the business opportunities? I mean, you've done phenomenally well. You've diversified your income streams. You've been on advertising. I know that you've done road shows. What are the various different income streams for a dancer?
There are so many. People just assume that you dance on stage and that's it. Obviously, you can become a dancer. There's obviously the choreography side of it as well, so the teaching side of it. As a dancer, you can perform not only on stage for live shows, but in recordings, television, working with artists, music videos, commercials. There are so many aspects of that. On top of that is touring with companies as well, touring with artists. As a choreographer, it's working on creating the material for that, so that kind of boosts your income a little bit more if you can get that name as well. And then on top of that, like I said, it's teaching, it's within the community, it's, you know, setting up classes.
And becoming a brand ambassador.
And becoming a brand ambassador.
You know, after all of that, just go to a top brand and become an ambassador.
There you go.
Excellent,
It's
excellent.
that easy.
You've done well. You've done so well. I'm exceptionally proud of you.
Thank you.
All I can say is keep doing it.
Thank you.
Keep doing it. Keep inspiring the next generation.
Thank you.
And if you lose any more weight, I don't know what I'm going to do, Missy. I don't know what I'm going to do. Thank you so much for talking with me.
Thanks, Kubi.
Rapid Cargo sponsors the Kubi Springer Show.